dawn at the cave mouth. Kale, the cripple, dropped a searing hot lump of rock at Chief Goroth's feet. The tribe froze.
What is this thing, Kale? It burns without fire. Where did you get it?
3 moons earlier, they found him by the river. Skull cracked, spine twisted. The tribe called him Kale, the broken one.
Can't even lift a rabbit. Worthless. Scrape the hides until your fingers bleed. It's all you are good for.
They see a broken body. I see 40 years of metallurgy locked inside a skull they nearly cracked open.
Then he found the red-brown rocks in the eastern creek bed. Bog iron. The others saw colored mud. He saw a blade that would cut this world open.
3 hours from the cave. A limestone hollow with a natural chimney. I can build the forge here. They must never know.
He shaped the furnace from clay and crushed bone, fed it charcoal burned in secret, and angled a fire-hardened clay pipe into the heart of the pile. For 3 moons, he failed. The heat never held. Each attempt left his hands more burned, his ribs more hollow. The ore mocked him, half melted into useless slag.
I refuse to die the boy who was nothing but a burden. Next time, I'll remember the flux. I have to.
3 moons of failure devoured him. His ribs pushed against skin, his hands a canvas of blistered burns. Still, the ore refused to become iron.
3 moons. My bones are eating themselves. I can't keep this up. The forge will be my tomb.
Collapsed by the creek, he watched the water wash over white stones. His engineer's memory ignited limestone flux. The missing piece.
Limestone. Crushed limestone. That's the flux. It will lower the melting point and let the slag run clean.
On the 4th moon, he threw the limestone into peak heat. The slag finally ran liquid, and a spongy, glowing mass of carbon steel bloomed.
Steel. Real carbon steel. I did it. I actually did it.
He waited until the bloom was cool enough to handle, then wrapped it in damp leather and lashed it to a pole. The return would begin at dawn. Through the forest he walked, the weighted pole digging into his shoulder. Every step was agony, but the bloom's warmth against his back was a promise.
They called me worthless, a broken boy who scrapes hides. Now they will see what a worthless body can forge.
Ahead, the cave's smoke curled into the pink sky. The moment of revelation was close. The tribe had no idea what was coming. Kale stepped into the firelight and let the leather bundle hit the dirt. The bloom rolled free, still warm, radiating a heat that had no fuel.
40 years, I have led this tribe. I know every stone, every root, but this thing is beyond my wisdom.
I saw you walk in with that weight on your back. No one helped you. Teach me how to do this, Kale. I will be your student. Get up. I will show you the forge, but the work will break you if you aren't ready.
The next day, deep in the limestone hollow, Raga learned to read the furnace's breath and crush the flux that would change everything.
This is a trick. The cripple must have stolen that rock from a fire demon. He'll bring a curse on us.
I've watched his hands work the bellows. There is no demon, just knowledge. You are only angry because he is no longer beneath you.
Goroth, the spirits whisper to me. This fire magic is not a gift. It is theft. If we allow it, the ancestors will turn their backs.
And yet the boy forged a lump that cuts better than any flint. I will watch him, Nara, but I will not crush him without reason.
The elders fear, but they are slow. Fear needs a push. If the forge breaks, so does the cripple.
Kale, forge before the tribe at dawn. No shadows. Prove this is not deception.
The entire tribe gathered as Kale and Raga rebuilt the furnace under every watchful eye. That night, Varn shattered the tuyere with a stone, leaving the forge broken.
Sabotage. A clean break. I can fix this before sunrise.
He packed wet clay around the pipe, his fingers knowing the shape from months of failure. At peak heat, the flux worked. A bloom emerged, larger and brighter than the first.
It's a twin. No demon's trick, just skill and sweat.
You have proven your fire, Kale. The tribe will not fear it, but Nara's words trouble me.
The spirits see your stolen fire. Your strength will wither like leaves in frost.
A coldness in my chest. What did she do?
Days passed, and the curse revealed itself. Kale's steps faltered, his skin grew pale, and each sunrise left him weaker.
My body is failing. But if I stop now, Varn wins. I must keep teaching Raga until I can't stand.
Look at him! The spirits are already punishing the thief. He'll drag us all into the dark.
Then test me. Let me forge something no spirit-cursed hand could make. If I fail, exile me.
Then a trial it shall be. On the next full moon, you will forge a weapon unlike any we have seen.
Not just a weapon, a thing that proves your fire isn't stolen. If it's a trick, the spirits will reveal it.
That night, Kale collapsed at his furs, sweating through fever dreams. His body begged for rest, but his mind churned with designs.
A sword, carburized edge, tempered in oil. If I can shape it without collapsing, even Nara will have to believe.
You are burning alive. Let me take the trial in your name. I can swing the hammer.
Number. If you strike for me, they'll say you are the demon's hands now. This fire must come from me alone.
The fever pulled Kale under that night. In its depths, a familiar room took shape, his old laboratory, the accident replaying in flames.
That's my death. The crucible failure. But why show me this now?
The flames twisted into a colossal figure of molten metal, a forge god extending a hand of pure, blazing knowledge.
It's offering the secrets of steel. This is more than a dream. I am chosen.
He jolted awake, soaked in icy sweat. The dream's heat still lingered on his skin.
Rhaega. Goroth. I saw the forge god. It showed me how to make the weapon. This trial will not fail.
A true vision. Then the curse is nothing before such power.
Speak low. If this is true, you are more than a smith. But Nara will see a rival, and her shadow is long.
Word of Kale's vision reached Nara. By dawn, her grip on her staff tightened until the wood creaked.
A spirit touched Smith. If the tribe follows him, my voice as the ancestor's mouth will be silenced.
Kale scratched the sword design onto bark. A curved blade, the forge god's vision, made solid line.
Full tang, carburized edge, oil quenched. This blade will cut through their doubts.
That night, Varn crept into Kale's shelter. A sharpened stone knife aimed at the sleeping smith.
The spirits won't save you now. Cripple, your fire dies with you.
Raga's hand locked around Varn's wrist, twisting until the stone blade clattered free.
Strike a sick man in the dark? You are worse than a hyena.
Goroth's torchlight flooded the shelter, his face carved from fury as he saw Varn pinned.
Guards stay on Kale until dawn. Varn, your life now hangs on that trial blade.
Kale watched in silence. The cold of the curse still coiled around his bones. Dawn would be his final chance. The trial was pulled forward. When the sun broke the horizon, Kale would forge or break. The forge roared to life under Kale's trembling hands. Every bellows stroke cost him. The tribe encircled him like vultures.
Just a few more heats. I won't let this body betray me now.
He hammered the glowing ingot into a blade, each strike sending pain through his cursed bones. Sparks painted his face.
He's slowing. Look, his arms are shaking. The forge god won't carry him through.
With a final roar, he plunged the blade into the oil trough. Steam exploded, hiding him from view. When the cloud cleared, a gleaming steel sword rested in his burned hands. It was perfect.
Chief, the sword is ready. Let the spirits be my witness.
I have never seen such a weapon. It is unnerving.
Kale's eyes rolled back. He crumpled beside the anvil, the sword still clutched in his seized fingers. The trial blade was done, but its maker lay motionless. The tribe did not move. From the frozen crowd, Varn lunged. He tore the sword from Kale's limp grip and raised it high.
This blade is mine. The curse ends with the cripple's blood.
Before steel could fall, Raga's spear, tipped with Kale's very first bloom, slammed into the blade, deflecting it wide.
Drop it, Varn. You've shamed the hunt, shamed the tribe. No more.
Varn swung wildly, driven by hate. Raga's spear was a blur of weeks of forge-fed strength. The spear found Varn's chest with a wet crack. He fell, the sword spinning away into the dirt. Silence. Then the tribe's murmur rose. A killer now stood among them, not a hunter.
Something warm. Blood? No, Raga's hand. He pulled me back. Raga, the sword. Is it?
The blade is safe, but Kale, blood has been spilled over you. The ancestors demand answers Nara will be eager to give.
Months passed. The forge's song replaced old fears. Steel spearheads and axes gleamed. The tribe swelled with strength.
Look around, Kale. Your fire feeds us. Even Nara's whispers have fallen silent.
The curse still chews my bones, but if I can arm them, this life will not have been wasted.
Westward, rival scouts watched the smoke pillars rise. Chief Ulf saw not prosperity, but a prize to be taken.
That smoke promises soft flesh and shiny rocks. We'll take their magic and crush their skulls.
High on the ridge, Raga spotted the glint of many spears. The alarm horn shattered the morning calm.
Chief, an army from the west, hundreds strong. They march on our forge fires.
They come for the forge, Kale. Can your cursed bones arm us in time?
Every strike of the hammer will bring death closer. But if I don't, the tribe dies with me.
Kale dragged himself to the anvil. The trial sword hung above him like a ghost. He would forge a tide of iron, or die trying. The battle roared to life. Steel blades clashed against stone axes. For the first time, Kale's tribe fought with iron, and they held the line.
They're pushing toward the forge. If it falls, we lose everything. I have to hold this line.
He fired the secret ballista. A massive bolt tore through the enemy ranks, scattering a dozen warriors. But it was not enough. Ulf's personal guard surged through a gap, painted warriors ignoring the battle to charge straight for the forge.
Kale, they're coming for the furnace. We can't stop them all.
Kale abandoned the ballista. He threw his frail body between the charging warriors and the forge's mouth, arms spread wide.
The cripple thinks he's a wall. Crush him and take the fire.
A warrior's stone club swung down. Kale raised a burnt arm. The crack of bone echoed through the din before he collapsed. He crumpled against the forge stones, a pool of red spreading beneath him. Yet his failing eyes remained fixed on the furnace.
It still burns. The fire is safe. My fire.
Raga's roar turned the tide. His steel-armed hunters shattered, Ulf scarred, the battle pivoting with every swing.
Ulf, your stone age ends here. This is the cost of threatening our forge.
The duel was brief. Ulf's axe shattered on Raga's shield. A spear ended the invader. They carried Kale to the cave, blood trailing. He gasped out one last demand, charcoal, and leave him at the wall.
The diagram first, then the quenching cycles. All my knowledge must survive.
In the dark, the forge god returned, pouring a final ember of strength into his dying hand. He scratched phase diagrams and formulas onto the stone. An engineer's last offering.
Bog iron, flux ratio, carbon content. They must know it all. The fire cannot die with me.
The charcoal slid from his grip. A smeared trail of knowledge marked his final message. The ember guttered, Kale's eyes closed, but his legacy was already burning bright. They built his pyre from the forge's broken remains. Every scarred plank was a testament.
He was the weakest body among us, but his fire made us all strong. I will carry his forge in my hands forever.
He was the smith, the first. The ancestors prepared a place for him where the forge never dies.
The flames climbed high, carrying Kale's spirit into the dawn. Smoke mingled with the forge's eternal plume. When the fire died, Nara was gone. She had slipped into the cave, drawn by something heavier than grief. She knelt by the wall where his final charcoal had left a messy, brilliant map of his soul.
This is no demon's scratch. It speaks a language deeper than our ancestors' whispers. He was never our enemy.
Her tears fell onto the stone, darkening the runes. For the first time, the elder wept for a rival. Outside, the forge smoke still climbed. Inside, Kale's legacy had claimed its last opponent.
Forgive me, Spirit Smith. Your fire will burn in our hearts. I will make sure of it.
Seasons turned. The tribe grew, and with it, the forge. Kale's cave writings became their sacred text. At the largest forge, old Raga now taught the young. His hands, once trained by Kale, guided theirs.
Steady the breath. The furnace listens. The first smith, Kale, showed me that fire speaks if you listen. Never forget his name. The cripple who became our first smith. He poured his life into this flame.
A small girl pointed at the wall, where Kale's scrawled formulas still gleamed under a protective glaze.
Those marks are his final gift. Each line holds the secret of steel. When you read them, you hear his voice.
He traced the charcoal with his fingertip. The old grief was now a quiet pride. Beyond the cave, the village hummed with industry. Forges multiplied. The smoke became a beacon.
You did it, Kale. Your weak bones gave us iron. The world won't forget.
The story of the first forge had become the tribe's heartbeat. Kale's ember would never go cold. That night, around the great fire, the children begged for the story of the first forge.
Very well. Listen close, for this tale is the fire that warms our bones.
A child's question rose. How could a boy weaker than them ever shape iron?
His body was broken, but his mind held a fire from another world. He suffered, starving, burning, but he refused to die a burden.
Raga's voice thickened. He gazed into the flames, as if searching for his old friend. Far across the village, at the silent forge, a faint silhouette took shape in the smoke. It was a man's outline, stooped but unbowed, one hand resting where a hammer might be. The elders say Kale's spirit still watches the flames, ensuring his gift never fades. And so the weakest caveman became the first blacksmith, an ember that lit a world. Time drifted like forge smoke. The village became a town. The town, a memory of its first fire. But on a hill where the morning light first touches, the tribe planted a marker. The trial sword, Kale's final proof, driven into the rock, never to be drawn again. It was not a weapon anymore. It was a promise. Iron endures, knowledge refines, sacrifice never dies. The boy who couldn't lift a rabbit had lifted a world out of the Stone Age. His body was dust, his name a legend, but his forge still sang in every blade. Future generations would stand here and feel the warmth of that first ember. They would not know the pain it cost. They would only feel its light, and that was Kale's greatest forging. Not steel, but a future. The weakest caveman, the first blacksmith, the fire that would never go out. The hill stood silent for an age. Generations came and went, but the sword never rusted. Children of the forge would climb the hill and press their ears to the metal, believing they could hear Kale's hammer.
Your fire outlasted my bones, old friend. The tribe will keep singing your song.
I cursed him, yet he blessed us. The ancestors have much to teach me still.
The knowledge in the cave walls spread, copied onto bark and carried by traders to other valleys. Where stone had ruled, iron now rose, not by strength of arm, but by strength of arm, but by strength of mind. And if you walk to the highest ridge on a moonless night, they say you can still see a glint of orange in the old hollow chimney. No one lives there now, but the furnace is never cold. The first blacksmith might be gone, but the forge he built still breathes, and that is the secret of steel. It remembers the fire, and so the stone remains. Not as a tomb, but as a hearth around which the ages gather. The world Kale left behind was not one of heroes, but of laws, the melting points, the carbon ratios, the quiet code of what endures. He was never meant to be a legend. He was meant to be the first in a long line of those who refuse to die quietly. Every smith who heats the furnace today begins by striking the stone once with their hammer. A small ritual, a quiet thank you. They do not pray to him. They honor the principle. The broken body is not the measure of the maker. The forge smoke is thin now, but the memory of its first breath is thicker than any iron ever pulled from the ground. Kale's name became a word for spark in the tribe's tongue, the spark that lights the dark. And if you ever feel too weak to change your world, stand here. Feel the heat that refuses to die. The first forge was not built with muscle. It was built with memory and a stubborn heart. That is the secret of the weakest caveman. He was not weak. He was the ember that became the fire. The ember became a forge. The forge became a city. The city became a memory, but the steel remembered. Centuries passed. Smiths no longer understood the old diagrams, but they felt the pull of the first forge. Then came a day when the hill was excavated, and the world saw again what Cale had buried. They tried to move it, but the sword refused to leave the stone. It had become the stone. A child pressed a hand to the glass and whispered, "Why is it still warm?" Because the fire of the first forge is not in the metal, it is in the knowledge it carries. That knowledge lifted them from caves to cities, from flint to the stars, and every time they reached for the impossible, they remembered the cripple who refused to be weak. The spark never died. It was passed from hand to trembling hand, from forge to ever-burning forge. I was the weakest caveman until I popped the first blacksmith's forge into existence. And then I was the fire. The ember spoke through him, and the world bent to listen, not with conquest, but with unbreakable creation. The forge fire was never about war. It was about the warmth of knowing the broken can build empires. On the hill, the sword glows with the promise that one spark can light an entire age. Children study his diagrams in steel-built schools, unaware the first flame was lit on starvation's edge. The caveman's forge became cities, industry, engines, the foundation of a new world. And as they reach for the stars, seeking new worlds, they carry within them the stubborn heat of that first bloom. Cale had no need for muscle, he had memory, refused death, and a future he would not surrender. The title of weakest was a lie measured by bone and sinew alone. The true measure was fire, so the story closes not with a grave, but a beacon. The weakest caveman became the first blacksmith. That is the legacy of steel. It never forgets the ember that lit the world. Neither will we. The smoke from the first forge still rises in the hearts of all who build. In every smith's hammer, there is an echo of his heartbeat, a rhythm that refuses to stop. The cave is silent now, but the diagrams still breathe when the torchlight hits them. The sword on the hill is not a tombstone. It is a lighthouse. Cale's story was not about a cripple who became a maker. It was about a maker who refused to be a cripple. The body knows its limits, but the mind knows none. That is the lesson of the first forge. What you carry in your skull, memory, knowledge, refusal, can set the world ablaze. He was the weakest caveman until he popped the first forge into existence. And then he was the fire. The ember never died. It just changed form, from flint to steel, from steel to stars and the fire. It never goes out. The old limestone hollow is quiet now, overgrown with moss and wild ivy, yet a faint warmth still breathes from the chimney, deep in the heart of the old furnace. A single ember refuses to die, pulsing with the memory of that first bloom. On the cavern wall, the charcoal diagrams have faded, but the stone itself now seems to hold the light of his knowledge. On the hill, the sword never moved. It became the anchor of a legend, a silent promise that the broken can remake the world. A child's handprint remains on the glass, a smudge of wonder left by someone who felt the heat and understood. Cale's spirit does not haunt, it dwells. In the forge's breath, in the steel's song, in the quiet of the hollow. He was the weakest caveman until he popped the first blacksmith's forge into existence. And then, he became the fire that never goes out. The fire remembers. So do we. Thank you, first blacksmith.